I will tell you one thing for sure, that the whole world is lying in ignorance and ill-informed stupidity. They have no idea in the world what's really going on this earth. And if you do, you need to keep your mouth shut. I've been told by officials in government, you need to keep your mouth shut. And the reason why is because I know who these people are. I know because I've been there. I know who they are, what they're doing. I know how the world really works. I know how this government really works. And I know how desperately evil it really is. You have no idea in the world how desperately demonic and depravity over us in America today. So if there is a devil, we've got it. And we are in an extremely dangerous situation at this moment. The Republic is now being unraveled and destroyed. And what is coming, you don't want to know. It's really a tragedy. And like I said, the only light at the end of the tunnel for me is a train coming, because I've been trying for many years and never been able to tell people what really I have, what I really actually have. I've been wanting to, but like you said, I've never sold out. Well, the reason why is very simple. I consider this kind of knowledge absolutely important for the human race to know. But it needs to be presented in the correct way. It needs to be presented professionally with all the documents and pictures, etc. So I don't have the funds to do that. As you said, I move from one house to another all continually because I have no place to live. I don't have the funds to do what I want to do. I don't have it. But one thing I do have is I know what's going on. And I know that if the American people ever saw one half of what I haven't told you and what I actually have, the church, government, banking institutions around the world are going to pay a terrible price for the lies that they have perpetrated on the American people. And I've been looking at this stuff for a long time. And all I can tell you is I wish I had the funds to present my work to the world and watch what happens when the people, the ordinary working class people, see for the first time with their eyes, not just hear it from me, but actually see it with their own eyes, what has really been going on in Washington, D.C., and how our country is being raped and destroyed and plundered, while the enemies of our country and our way of life are mocking us in front of our faces. They're producing television shows mocking America, mocking the American citizens. They mock our teenagers with cartoons of Beavis and Butthead. They mock our families, our American families, with their stupid cartoons and the Simpsons and things like that. They mock America. They mock the whole idea of freedom and liberty and justice and decency and honor and morality is being mocked right in front of our faces. And in my view, the most destructive enemies that this country has ever had is the modern day Christian church. If there is any place that there is a conspiratorial apparatus in place to destroy the American people, it is in what we call today the Christian church. It is filled with filthy, degenerate lies, deception, incredible sexual, financial corruption. You have no idea in the world how bad it really is. And I've known it for a long time, but I am just one old man trying to wake people up, and I paid a terrible price for it, and I've lost everything. But I've got to tell you, if you don't wake up, if the people of this country do not wake up, they're going to find that what is coming is going to be far more demonic, far more devastating, evil, bloodshedding, filthy, and degenerate people who are leading our great country and our people into chaos. And it's all been planned a long time ago. As far back as 48 years ago, I was looking up the time. It was 48 years ago, I came across some information and in Los Angeles. In my research, I came across something that was it was not challenging at all. It was just some information about the Soviet Union, and that was back in 1967. And I was doing some research on communism, and I've always been interested in Nazism, fascism, communism, all of the different political movements of the world, and how they are actually financed and how they are actually put into place by secret powers behind the throne. Where does the money come from? Was always the starting point for me. Where does the money come from to finance world communism? I mean, I know that the United States used to feed the Soviet Union. They had no money. They didn't even have enough potatoes to make vodka. So we, the United States banks, all of our major banks and the major banks in England had to provide them with money to buy food, to buy guns, to buy their military, to pay their military. Well, we paid for that, America. We sent them money to pay. As a matter of fact, there was an article in Argosy magazine back many years ago, 59, 60, 61, I think, right about then, where the Federal Reserve had sent to the Soviet Union was starving. They couldn't fight Hitler. They couldn't fight anybody because they didn't have the money. They didn't even have the food to feed their troops. They were broke because that's the way communism operates. It's always broke. So the United States Federal Reserve, according to this article, sent the plates for hundreds and fifties and twenties to the Soviet Union. They sent the plates to roll off the money because it would look bad, it would look strange, and they couldn't keep it secret if they were running off 24 hours a day, running off the money, packaging it up, and sending it to the Soviet Union to pay for their troops and their guns and their food. And so it would look bad if anybody ever found out. There's going to be no way to hide it if that many billions of dollars are going out every month to the Soviet Union to feed it and finance it. So it was decided that we'll just send them the plates for the money and let them run it off at home. Let them run it off there. So the Federal Reserve is sending the plates to their money to the Soviet Union because the Russians and the Soviet communists are starving. They need the money to buy food. They need the money to import food. They're dying. They don't even have enough money. They don't have enough potatoes to even make vodka, like I said. So we had to send them money to keep them up. We need to keep them and support them. And so General Motors and Ford Motor Company and Eli Lilly Glass and Union Carbide and all the big corporations, including the 3 or 4 major banks like Citibank and Citicorp and Commercial Bank out of Atlanta, was sending hundreds of millions of dollars to the Soviet Union to keep it going. Nobody seems to realize that. Nobody seems to question where did the communists in the Soviet Union get the money to build a great army and build that great communist threat. Financed out of New York, financed out of Georgia, out of Chicago, out of London. That's where the money came from. So what does that tell you? It tells you that we have an incredible bloodletting, murderous banking system financing, organizing, and directing world communism, world wars, violence, alcoholism, drug addiction, the Medellin cartels and the Cali cartels and the great cartels of drug running down in Central and South America. It's an extraordinary story of betrayal of the human race. And I could sit here and talk all night about things that you've never heard. And I've sat with these people, and the people who are the real movers and shakers, I've sat with them in private and talked with them. So I know what I'm talking about. You have no idea in the world what's really going on in this country called America today. This trick has been worked on us for a long time, and nobody can do anything about it because the people in power, the congressmen and senators, know if they say anything, they're going to have a bad accident. Their family's going to have a bad accident, or they'll be made to look like a fool in the papers. And so just all you need to do is ask the wrong questions in front of an audience of the president or of a congressman and watch what happens to you later. So in America, you can be killed if you know something you're not supposed to know. They will find your body somewhere in an alley with a bullet hole, 3 of them in the back of your head, and then claim you committed suicide. This is the America you live in today.